Hey, welcome to Texas Football Talk. I'm your host, Jeremy Lockley, once again joined by my brother Clint. In this episode, a 2022 Commitment Corner, talking to the versatile defensive back from Denton High School, Austin Jordan. How you doing, brother?
Hey, pretty good, man. It's nice to get another defensive back in this class. I know we're looking at probably getting around 5 or 6 defensive backs when this class is all over with. It's probably going to be similar to the 2018 class when you're looking at defensive backs in this 2022 class. Obviously, going in and grabbing another guy to Denton Ryan is huge, man. You're talking about a defensive back in Austin Jordan, who's currently 6 foot, 190 pounds. Again, goes to Ryan High School out of Denton, Texas. Currently at about a 92 grade when you're looking at the composite 247. And then number 197, you ranked player in the nation, and then number 11th ranked safety in the nation as well. Number 33 in the state of Texas. Had about 20 offers committed to University of Texas over Ohio State, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. Unanimous first team all-district selection as a junior. In a powerhouse, man. And if you go back and kind of look at his tape, and I know you'll kind of get into that, he's really playing opposite of Billy Bowman. So I can imagine majority of the passes were probably going to his side, the side of the field. Obviously having Billy Bowman, who committed to Oklahoma, was probably kind of locked down on that one side of the field. So he probably taken on a lot of those passes. Another track guy, you're talking about a guy that runs the 100-meter, 200-meter relays, verified speed, man. And I know a lot of coaches are looking for those things now. They're looking for guys that are not just football players, but doing other sports as well. And track is one where you can verify the speed on some of these commits. Helped Ryan, Denton Ryan to an undefeated record and a Division 5A Division I state title. Again, we'll get into it, man. But you're talking about guys like Jatavian Sanders, Austin Jordan, Billy Bowman, and really probably the cream of the crop, maybe in that 23 class in a gentleman edge rusher. According to 247, and Anthony Hill, who's currently the number 7 composite player in the country in that 2023 class. Big time football man, played at Denton Ryan. Big time football players coming from that place, and I think it's just when you can create a pipeline, and we'll get into that after Jeremy goes through the film to a high school like that. You're doing yourself pretty good. Your thoughts on Austin Jordan's game film? So
I want to touch on a couple things that you already discussed, and that was we continue to get players from teams that are state champions. Austin Westlake, Denton Ryan, these factories that produce not only great talent, but winning football players. So that's the first thing I want to talk about Austin Jordan. Like you said, he plays with a whole host. He had Barry Alexander on his team last year. He had Jatavian Sanders on his team last year. Billy Bowman, you talked about Anthony Hill. So that defensive side of football for Denton Ryan had a bunch of stars. But let's talk about him. So the first play you see on this film, he's on the short side of the field. Redirects basically on an island by himself because all the other 3x1 is on the other side. Basically redirects a post corner route, finds the football, and a perfect pass breakup. He's very physical at the line of scrimmage. Like you say, 6 foot, 190 pounds. He plays all over the field. You can find him in the boundary. You can find him on the short side of the field. You can find him at safety sometimes. And when teams run 22 personnel, meaning 2 running backs, 2 tight ends, he's down in the box as an outside linebacker. So very versatile guy. Also played some receiver. You'll see them line him up on the outside, flare screens to him, and let him make plays. Because this guy, if he gets the ball in his hands on the defense side of the ball, like he's a guy that likes to strip sack, and he'll take you down, or not strip sack, but a strip fumble, and then pick it up and run it to the house. I saw consecutive plays against the same team, took the ball out of the dude's hands and took it to the house. He has the ability with his frame to shed blockers and one-on-one tackles against running backs. So you're talking about a guy who can defend the pass on both the short side and the boundary. You're talking about a guy that you can stick back at safety, talking about his versatility. And if, like you said, if you find certain personnel packages at a 190-pound frame, he can find himself in the box making plays on a pass rush. Excellent ball skills. Doesn't look to pass to break the ball up. He's looking to intercept it and take it back. And he has excellent catch-up speed. If you find him getting beat off the line, because he does play a little bit of bump, but he'll also play a little over-the-top coverage. If he does get beat off the line of scrimmage, you'll find him find his ability to make a ground on receivers and eventually knock the ball down. That's what I saw with Austin Jordan.
Yeah, when you're looking at his film, man, it's all about physicality, man, and strong hands. Obviously, I watched the same thing you did, man. You strip those balls into consecutive, strip the balls away from the ball carrier in consecutive plays. But to me, it's about the physicality. It's like to me, he looks like an island guy because he's right up on top of you, man. Like bump coverage. Bump coverage. But he's big enough. You're talking about 6 foot, 190-pound corner. That's a guy you're going to have as far as being physical. That's a guy to get off of you, man, at the line of scrimmage. But yeah, the catch-up speed is definitely there. You had another thought, Jeremy? It looked like
just when you're talking about Bowman, having the opportunity to play with Billy Bowman when Bowman was a senior and Austin Jordan was a junior. I'm be interested to see, because like I said, we talked about the caliber of athletes that Denton Ryan has. Who's playing on the other side of him this coming year when he's a senior, and how much play he's going to get when he's probably the alpha dog? Because I really feel like you just said, if you somehow were able to get a guy like Denver Harris in this class, then you're talking about legitimately 2 shutdown corners. And like I said, if him, you can find him in the slot as well. And like I said, if you need safety depth, you can find him deep in the secondary as well. But yeah, I'm interested to see how much work he gets in his senior year there at Denton Ryan.
Yeah, I think what you currently have already committed versus what you may have a chance of committing later in this class, I think really comes down to how you're going to utilize these guys, man, at safety, at nickel corner, and really cornerback. So I think, again, position versatility is huge, man. I think a lot of these guys are really going after lengthy, big guys like for cornerbacks. But at the same time, if you have cornerbacks, then you can play them in the nickel corner, or you could turn around and make them a safety. So we'll kind of see how this class plays out when it's all over with, when this defensive back class is all over with, kind of see where it kind of lands at. Kind of going back to Denton Ryan, I think you had another thought before we kind of go back to Denton Ryan in the alumni.
Well, no, just like you just said, currently in this class, you got Jalen Gilbo and you got Brian Allen Jr. That's 6 foot to 6'2", 190 to 200 pounds. That versatility you're talking about, that body type is all the same. Yes, Brian Allen Jr. plays safety at Aledo. Jalen Gilbo plays corner at Port Arthur Memorial. And then you got a kid like him, Austin Jordan, who plays all over the field or has potential to play all over the field for Denton Ryan. So, yeah, I think Terry Joseph and Blake Gideon are getting a lot of pieces that they can kind of mold and meld and put them where they fit.
Yeah, I think the days of the 5'9", 5'10", 5'11" cornerback are numbered at this particular point. They long range of guys, I think, is what everybody's kind of looking for. If you go across the board and look at 247's composite and what's in the NFL, and again, you're going to have those guys that are going to come in, 5'10", 5'11", that are going to be able to play, that are dogs, man, that are really, really good. But I think the days are numbered, man. I think these tall, rangy, big cornerbacks, safeties, and nickel corners is what's kind of happening moving forward. Let's talk about the alumni, man, at Denton Ryan there, man. That's kind of helped us create this pipeline. I push because even Billy Bowman was a lean to Texas before he decided to pick Oklahoma last year. It's funny because I didn't even think about Barry Alexander being on that defensive line there at Denton Ryan. I think he's moved teams again this year. He's not going to be playing for them. But like you said, really the defense of last year, you got 5, 6, 7 defensive D1 scholarship guys, top schools too, man, just big schools. But Della Torrey, coach is currently for Denton Ryan, has a son that plays, Colt, who's an offensive lineman in the 23 class. Do you think that helps the pipeline from Texas to Denton Ryan?
No doubt, and it's going to continue. Like you said, Alex Della Torrey was a ball player for the University of Texas, and absolutely, I think it'll help. He's going to push the education. He's going to push the facilities. He's going to push, all the things that we talk about in the recruiting trail. You just got to continue to produce. You got to continue to win to allow that pipeline, like you said, from these winning programs to continue to come down to Austin. But absolutely, I think it plays a role in a factor. Yeah,
I'm really excited, man. Like I said, I'm going to go back probably today or tomorrow, and probably watch that championship game again, see if I can find it, that championship game again. Definitely want to watch it. I'd like to see Austin Jordan play an entire game, obviously get back into looking at Jatavian Sanders. I know we had that conversation about tight end versus edge rusher, outside linebacker, Jack, wherever they're going to play him. So I'm going to kind of get my eyes back on these guys again, and then we'll kind of go from there, man. We appreciate you. Hope you enjoyed this podcast. We appreciate you listening as always. If you If you wouldn't mind, please hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for listening. As always, you can find us on Twitter at TX Football Talk, on Instagram at Texas Football Talk, and on Facebook at Texas Football Talk. Have a wonderful day. Welcome.
Hook 'em.